We're here at the Verizon Technology Forum with Ken Worth, the president of the Verizon Business Unit for Alcatel Lucent. So Ken, Alcatel Lucent has been in the global IPTV space for quite a while. How do you see the changes in the broadband access technology affecting the way the multimedia applications like IPTV evolve?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank OSP and Verizon for having us attend this session. It's really a great session. We're excited to be here. But as it relates to IPTV and multimedia applications, clearly we've been in the forefront of those applications since the very beginning of access technology. So we've been partnered with Verizon in the DSL areas, and now we've pioneered with them GPON. So we're clearly deploying a lot of capacity, a lot of capability for the network to generate new services. And really, that new services are really focused on taking advantage of the capability that's now being built into the network. Some of the things I think are going to drive the network are video on demand. Clearly, Verizon's launched that. We'll be launching more of that capability, so that's going to consume a tremendous amount of bandwidth to drive new applications. But also, peer-to-peer video is another key aspect. We're seeing a lot of peer-to-peer applications. We're also seeing a lot of end-user interest in creating their own peer-to-peer applications to drive new services and new capabilities. And finally, the content side of things. So if you think about end users, they're constantly creating, if you look at YouTube and you look at MySpace, constant video creation. And we think end users have a pent-up ability to create new capability that then needs to be transformed on the network. So from my perspective, content is really going to drive the network. It'll drive that capacity, and it will come from the media companies through Verizon as well as from end users back into the business. And finally, when you have all this capacity and all this capability, the key aspect is, what do you do with it, right? How do you tie it all together? If you think about what's out there in the various networks in Verizon today, whether it be Verizon Wireless with handheld devices, Verizon Business focused on enterprise customers, Verizon Telecom focused on business and consumers in their homes, how do you tie that all together? And so we've approached it from a concept called follow the eyeballs. And it's really around multi-screen capability and transferring that content from whatever screen or device the end user is looking at, whether that's on their TV with Fios, whether that's on their laptop or their PC, whether at home or remote, and also to the end device. So as an example, if I was sitting at my home watching a soccer game with my family, and all of a sudden we said, oh geez, we're late to the soccer game, we got to go, but we wanted to continue to watch that program, to have that ability to either be transferred to the video system in my car or the video system on my handheld is very important. And there's a couple technologies that enable that to happen. Alcatel Lucent is providing those technologies in terms of blended services. And what's really important about that is you're able to then provide the consumer what they're looking for, is anywhere, anytime communications in a personalized, effective way.
That's for certain. The demand is increasing exponentially. Alcatel Lucent has also been the vanguard of optical technology. How do you see the future in this area?
Well, we have been, actually Alcatel Lucent invented optical technology through our Bell Labs division way back when, and actually we've partnered with Verizon since the very beginning on customizing our solutions and our capabilities to their needs. If you think about optical networking infrastructure in Verizon, we're really providing multiple types of infrastructure and capability. In Verizon Wireless, we're providing backhaul facilities from their cell sites into their switching centers using a variety of optical and microwave solutions. In Verizon Business, we're providing the backbone core transport at 10 gigabit and now 40 gigabit for high-speed transmission of video services for Fios as an example. And then finally, in Verizon Telecom, we're using optical services in the core, in the metro areas, and all the way out virtually to the homes and to the business users. So we've got those platforms deployed ubiquitously across Verizon's networks. Now the key thing is, similar, we talked about how do you create those services and capabilities, as an example using an IMS infrastructure for the IPTV and new applications. The same is true for the optical networks, and I think the value is, how do we link all the different networks that are out in Verizon's network today in a common fashion to provide fast service turn-up, so that they're able to turn service up to their customers more quickly? How do we provide innovative services? How do we help manage that bandwidth effectively? And how do we help the interconnects across all those networks for ubiquitous service creation? And so one of the aspects that we've been working on for several years now and have it deployed in Verizon's network is our control plane technology. And what that allows us to do is to actually provision bandwidth very quickly, manage that bandwidth across the network, and capture those customers faster for Verizon than their competitors. And that's the name of the game. How do you get to that revenue more quickly? So our control plane aspect is really something that's important and a key aspect of what we're working on to support Verizon. And you can actually extend that out of the optical networking areas into the GPON and access areas that we talked about previously. So if you think about it, control plane would allow you to have bandwidth on demand out to the very edges of the network, whether that's to an enterprise or a business customer or whether that's to the home. So we talked in the beginning about the volume and the increasing level of services and capacity, and now with that kind of technology, it'll bridge the networks together and it'll allow real-time bandwidth allocation where it's needed, when it's needed, in an automated way.
All right, well, I know those are all issues that are going to be addressed here at this forum, so we're glad you're here, and thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thanks for having me.